But I talk to them about how, yes, reading is important, but reading is also a creative outlet. I show them people like Michael Jordan and J.K. Rowling and Beyonce who have used their love for reading to put them into a creative outlet like music or basketball or acting. Kind of just it all ties together.
Okay, so first things first, what is your name and your CSI?
So I'm Kendall Runyan, Miss Washington's Teen 2025, and my CSI is Read to Achieve Shaping Young Minds Through Early Literacy.
And I am Lena Jenkins. I'm running for Miss Pierce County's Teen 2026. And my CSI is turning a new page, fostering reading engagement in school age children and teens.
That's so awesome. I love that I'm seeing more literacy-based
Yes, I'm
platforms
actually
being
the
brought
only
forward.
one in my pageant, as far as
That's
I've noticed.
awesome. Yeah, they're definitely becoming more popular, but it's been really cool to see people make it more of a priority now.
And I'm glad to see it too.
Yeah, so just a little bit of backstory behind my community service initiative first. I started when I was 7 years old. I loved reading. My mom really prioritized it in the house when I was a baby. And I went into a Montessori program and ended up reading to a lot of the peers around me at a very young age. And then ended up entering the Venture program, which is a highly capable program for elementary students. Um,
Oh,
and
nice.
in that program, I learned that a lot of the other students in my school didn't necessarily have the same access to books and literacy materials that I did at home. And that's when I built my first free little library with my dad at 7 years old. And then now my community service initiative is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. And a lot of what I do is focus on working with low income communities. And a lot of the times, low income families don't necessarily have the same access to literacy materials and books for their children like many families do. So,
Mhm.
something that I share a lot in my interview is children who read 5 books a day enter kindergarten hearing 1.4 million more words than kids who are not read to at home. And kind of going back, if a family doesn't have access to books in their home, they're not getting read to at home. So it's so important to be able to have those resources and provide those resources for those families so that they can help their students kickstart their elementary education.
And outside of your own nonprofit, have you partnered with other companies or nonprofits before for your CSI?
Yes, I'm currently partnered with Head Start, the early learning program that's kind of all over the country. We have a local Head Start preschool in kind of my area of Washington, and I'm able to go there every single week and read to their preschoolers. They are all low income children. A lot of them don't have access to books in their homes or in their neighborhoods, or don't necessarily have the right transportation to get to a free public library. So me being able to go into their classroom and read to them every week has been really beneficial for them, and I've been able to see the impacts of that.
That's good. And have you taught like the children's parents, for example, that there are digital resources for books? I know
Yes.
there's books like the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
some of that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of what I get to do with my, brochures that I hand out at different literacy-focused events and family events. Our brochures are kind of targeting the parents rather than the children, teaching them how they can make sure to prioritize literacy in their home, and have those resources so that they can help their students succeed.
So, would you say that while connecting with the children is important to teach them, connecting with the adults is just as, if not more important?
Absolutely. There are so many resources out in Washington state and in the United States alone that parents have at their fingertips to help their students in the future. And one of the things that I've seen most with my nonprofit is that parents don't understand where those resources are or how to reach out for those resources if we aren't targeting them. So while I'm targeting the kids and teaching them in the classrooms in my crown and sash why they should be reading at home, it's also really important for me to be able to target the parents, and teach them how that they can utilize my nonprofit and other nonprofits around them.
And what do you think about the fact that 1 in 4 Americans are illiterate? as of 2023, I believe.
That illiteracy is generational. When we are looking at a family who grew up not having books in their home, their children aren't going to prioritize literacy as their parents weren't being prioritized literacy. Like, and it goes on for generations and generations. So that's why we're trying to break that barrier now. We're trying to prioritize literacy in the parents and in the children, teach them how it can truly make them successful, how they can be a leader, how they can use their literacy skills to be the type of person that they want to be in the future. And by breaking that stigma and breaking that barrier, we can break that generational issue.
And that is very important.
Yes.
What about how reading ties into creativity?
I am such a creative person, and I put a lot of, I guess, kudos to my love for reading towards that. I am in choir and I'm a cheerleader and I love anything crafty. I'm always trying to do and learn new things, and I wouldn't have the resources and the knowledge to be able to do those things and to reach out and learn new things without the skills that I gained from reading. That's one of the things that I teach my students when I do my Read, Lead, Succeed presentations. I've been doing them for about 2 years now. I started as Miss Liberty's teen, and I've continued on as Miss Washington's teen. But I talk to them about how, yes, reading's important, but reading is also a creative outlet. I show them people like Michael Jordan and J.K. Rowling and Beyoncé who have used their love for reading to put them into a creative outlet like music or basketball or acting. Kind of just it all ties together.
It really does. Congratulations on your crown, by the way. I'm sure that was a fight to get.
I know. It was definitely a lot of hard work, but it's been really rewarding to be able to see all of the other girls that are competing for locals and seeing how much work that they're putting in. And that you guys are all ready for Miss Washington's teen. So it's going to be an incredible competition.
Exciting, exciting. What is your favorite place that you have gone and read to? Like, if you had to pick out of all of the things that you've done, what is your favorite moment?
Ooh, I've been volunteering in the Head Start preschool since 2021. And so I've gotten to meet a lot of different kids. And one is very, very near and dear to my heart. His name is Parker. He's graduated out of preschool now. I'm not even sure what grade he's in now. He pulled me aside after story time, and he's 5 years old. So I was like, okay, what's he going to tell me today? And he was like, I really love when you come and read to me. And I was like, oh, why is that? And he was like, I don't have books at home. I don't get read to at home. And that kind of just ties right back into making sure that parents know that those resources are available to them. Me
Yes,
coming
yes.
into his classroom every single week was impacting his life in a way that could have impacted his future and could have impacted his success. And that's kind of the most eye-opening moment and the most precious moment that I've used and kind of kept close to me as I've continued working with my platform to see that impact and to know that I'm impacting more people than just him is really motivating.
Yes. And I'm sure you see it all the time as they grow and learn, but have you noticed a almost direct link between when children are getting read to more often and their intelligence, their ability to do math, read, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually tutor a girl, and I've been tutoring her since I was in 7th grade. And
Wow.
she grew up in a single parent, low income household and wasn't prioritizing literacy in her home. And am still tutoring her to this day. And I see the struggles that she has with math and with science. And that's actually what I work with her on. Now she's a lot stronger of a reader and she's starting to understand math more. And seeing that connection that she's making in her brain, learning that she now loves reading and also seeing that the things that she's loving to read are now connecting into the other outlets of her life that she used to struggle with has been really impactful, and I love that she's being able to experience the magic of reading.
Well, that's lovely. I am so proud of her.
I know, she's doing great now. I'm so sad to leave her behind when I go to college.
It's okay. I'm sure you guys can video call. She'll call you all the time. I can't
I
solve
know.
this. So, on that note, what do you think of how children learn about the world around them through reading?
One example that I use a lot in my presentations is if I was driving down the road and there was a huge sign that said, or if there was a cliff in front of me and there was a sign that said, "Don't drive any further. There's a cliff," and I couldn't read. I would keep driving.
Mhm.
And so just those real world connections, that I use as examples with the kids, kind of I see the clocks turning in their heads. Also, like the grocery store example, when I'm walking in a grocery store and I'm looking for a box of cereal, am I even gonna know where the cereal aisle is if I didn't have those literacy skills? So
Mhm.
kind of seeing that connection that they're making, understanding that literacy isn't just something that their teachers are telling them to do at home for an IXL reward. It's something that they're gonna need every single day in their life, and if they don't have those skills, they really are gonna struggle.
And for any kids that end up watching this when I do post it, what are some fun, like, reading games or things that you would encourage kids to do?
I love doing anything with, like, phonics or compound words.
Mhm.
Last year, as Miss Liberty's teen, I actually hosted my first Read with the Queen event, and I had title holders from all over Washington come and help me encourage literacy in the youth in Kitsap County. And one thing that we did was kind of tie a different craft or activity to different books. And this is kind of more towards parents. I know we, as kids, we don't really understand how to set up crafts ourselves, but being able to read the story of the Cat in the Hat and then connect the different compound words or the phonics in the Cat in the Hat book on a worksheet, I saw was really impactful, and really helpful for the students that ended up coming to that event. So that's something that I really encourage with parents that come when I'm tabling at different family centered events, or also when I'm talking to older kids who are interested in finding new ways to learn to love reading.
Speaking of older kids, what about middle schoolers or teenagers that are trying to be cool and push away books?
You know, I struggle with this a lot. Going into the 5th grade classrooms especially, they're always like, "Okay, why is she here? Why is she telling us to read? We know
There's
how
no
to."
more like, "Oh my gosh, she's a princess."
I know, it's such a bummer, but, I do every once in a while get questions, they're like, "All my friends tell me it's not cool to read." And I was like, "Well, it is cool to read, everything that we do is cool because everything that we're doing is leading us up to our future." I often ask my older kids, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" And I get astronaut and doctor and all this stuff, and then I asked them, I was like, "Do you like reading?" And they're always like, "No, it's so boring." And I was like, "Do you think that reading is going to help you when you're an astronaut or a doctor?" Sometimes I get those couple boys in the back that are like, "No, I don't need reading." But then I really explained to them, like, you need reading in everything that you do. You're gonna need reading to understand how to launch your rocket in the future. You're gonna need reading to read the prescription that you're giving your patient. So it really kind of reflects itself in every outlet of our life and is so, so important.
It really, really does. And I was the kid that learned how to say hippopotamus rhesus phobia at like 11. So I got hammered for reading.
I know, and even my best friend is like, "I just hate reading," and she's about to be a senior in high school, and I love reading. Every once in a while, I'm like, "Okay, I'm done with this book. Let me put it down and do something else." But I have seen the impacts of what it's done for me and what it's done for the kids around me, so I really try to push it on the older kids.
Yeah. One thing that I generally try to do is I generally try to point out certain things that are tailored to interests. If you like just
Mhm.
anime, go read fan fiction. You're still reading.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I it's hard because in the classroom, especially at the high school level, we have teachers that are like, "You have to read this really big, long book." And one thing that I found that was really helpful, especially in my honors freshman class, is our teacher let us pick something that mattered to us. She told us, like, your work isn't going to reflect how hard you've worked for this project if you're not doing something that you want to do. So I'm going to let you pick a book and then you write a paper on it on why you chose it. And I saw like the kids that read anime and the kids that read comic books write essays that I'd never seen them write before.
Oh,
So truly just
wow.
finding something that you love, and finding a genre that you love is could be the make or break between hating reading and loving it.
Yeah. What book did you pick?
I did The Hunger Games. It's my favorite series.
Oh,
I was a Harry Potter kid growing up,
me
uh,
too.
obsessed with Harry Potter. Like, my room it's cute and aesthetic now, but in 4th grade, it was teal walls and owls
Oh
everywhere because I
no.
was so obsessed with Harry Potter. But I ended up obviously reading all Harry Potter books, and then I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm not one to read books again." So I opened up a Hunger Games book and was obsessed. So I loved that project. I think I probably wrote like 8 pages on the Hunger Games and all the different characters. And actually, the Hunger Games is featured in one of my college essays too. So
Oh, wow. You
yeah.
know, a character from both Harry Potter and The Hunger Games are featured in my Her Story for my upcoming pageant.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
So,
I could ask you a little bit of questions about your community service initiative. Why did you choose literacy and like what spoke to you about your community service?
I have always loved reading since I was teeny tiny. I think I read my first Harry Potter book at like 8 and just read them over and over and over again. And then when I moved on from Harry Potter, there were like 300 other series waiting for me. Since I was always reading, I would get in trouble for it in the classroom. I would finish my work really, really, really fast and then be reading, and I'd get in trouble for doing that. Or other kids would pick on me because I'd be holding a book at recess and that kind of
Mm.
thing. And I realized that not everyone likes reading the way I do, which has kind of always bothered me. And then I was laying on my bed at like 3 a.m. trying to figure out what my CSI was going to be because this is my first pageant and I did this with no preparation, no planning, just wanted to do it, so I did it. And I was staring at my bookshelf and I was like, why don't people like reading? So,
Exactly. My
CSI.
question That's awesome. I love that. I kind of had that same moment growing up. When I was 5 years old, I had a bookshelf in my room and I loved reading so much that I'd stay up so late and I was like 5. So I was 9 o'clock was late and I was reading. And I got my bookshelf taken out of my room.
I did too. My mom had to like give me a book and then she'd make me give it back before she gave me a new book.
Yeah. Yeah. My
I
bookshelf
was
was
the I was the kid that would check out 6, 7, 8, 9 different books from the library at once
Oh, yeah, and then you
and
turn them
lose
all
half
in
of them.
one, and then they'd be like, "Did you actually read any of these?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I read them all in one day. Here you go. I'll take 8
Mhm.
more."
Actually, I'm really excited. I'm going to my old elementary school, and she used to let me check out, like, 2 books above the maximum,
Oh,
and I'm gonna go read in her library, and I'm very
that's so
excited for that.
exciting. That's such a full circle moment.
Yes.
And that's something that I got to do too when I started pageants. I got to do this a lot younger, but when I won my very first title, I got to read in my Montessori classroom with my very first Montessori teacher. So that was
Yay.
really fun.
And what was your first title?
I was the International Junior Miss Washington preteen.
Yay, good job.
No, it was very exciting. I was in 6th grade and I was just well, I guess it wasn't my first title, but it was really the first title that I did something with.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Hmm.
so fun.
What about kids who have to read textbooks and they don't like them for whatever reason? What would you say to those kids as far
I
as, like, actual school reading goes?
I have to read textbooks and I don't like it, but we apply the knowledge that we put in our brains.
Mhm.
So I do the Pomodoro method, the 25 5-minute kind of on and
Oh.
off. So if I'm doing homework or I'm studying, I'll do it for 25 minutes and then I take a 5-minute break. And a 5-minute break kind of seems really short, but I actually ended up like 2 weeks ago during my finals, I ended up staying up until like 1:30 in the morning doing the Pomodoro method. It's been so beneficial for me, especially when I'm reading. And if you're reading something you don't like, it's nice to like look over at the clock and be like, "Oh, I have 3 minutes left." Then I get my break, and then once you start reading again, you get into the flow of it, and then you just get trapped.
Yeah, you
So I
just
just get lost in the textbook.
me too. I
Mm.
was the kid who used to, like, take my textbook home, read the whole thing, and bring it back, so I didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
I, however, do use the candle method. It's where you take, one of the, like, thin candles from the dollar store or off of Amazon or whatever, and you burn it down, and when your candle's burnt out, you can stop studying for a bit.
Aw, I've never actually tried that. I feel like I'd, like, want to make the candle go faster.
Yeah, no. Breaks are beneficial for some people, but if I take a break, I'm gonna ignore when my break's over and, like, stop all the way, so I'm just like, "No, keep going."
Exactly.
It's hard to think of questions.
Whenever I do interviews, I always, like, I write my own little list of questions, and then I put their bio in ChatGPT and have it give me extra questions to ask. Because
That's
sometimes
real.
ChatGPT does have some good ideas.
Yeah, it does have some helpful qualities, but since we're on the topic of ChatGPT, what do you think about it when it comes to reading itself? Do you think it's like harmful as far as actual literature goes, or do you think it could be beneficial?
I actually got a question very similar to this in my Miss Washington's Teen interview. And one thing that I shared is that I think that it can be very beneficial if we use it in efficient ways.
Mhm.
Children in Japan start AI education at 5 years old. So
Wow,
they know how to use AI efficiently and effectively and responsibly. And that's not something that we see a lot in the United States right now.
it
You know,
really isn't.
yeah, we see a lot of students over abusing AI nowadays.
Yep.
But now one thing that I've found is that when I study myself, I make myself study guides, or if a teacher is giving me a study guide, I put it into ChatGPT and I use it as a tool to help myself rather than a tool to do my work for me. So
Yeah,
it asks
just
a
like
question.
chat, break this down and help me think through this is so much
Yes.
better than help me solve this.
Yes, exactly. I have it ask me questions and then it takes note when I'm not understanding a concept and then it goes back. And then for math, it'll make me a study guide if I don't have one, or write me some extra notes that I may need to write down on my note card. And that's something that I think that we should teach our students in the United States to use better. I would love to see some more efficient and responsible education on AI in the future, and I think that's something that's in our future, especially since it's becoming so prevalent.
No, AI laws and AI education are definitely a major need.
Yes. Yeah. I just saw a TikTok a couple days ago of a girl that was like, my college application's due tonight, but AI's got me, and I was like, "Ooh, girl."
She's not getting in. They have scanners for that.
I know, but I feel like they're not effective
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
They're not I feel like they're not that effective anymore because the skills and the way I write my papers, I see a lot of those same qualities in an AI. M dashes, the Oxford comma, those things are so common in AI, and those are also common things that I use when I'm writing my papers myself. So those scanners, I feel like, are scanning for those qualities that people have been using since they've learned how to write.
One
So
thing that really interests me that I think we should bring back, I'm gonna make a petition for this one day, I swear, is the expressive periods. There's like
Oh,
a friendly period or an affectionate question mark. Bring
yes.
those back.
I know. And now, like, when I'm writing my captions, I do every once in a while put my captions through ChatGPT to kinda, like, make them cuter, make them more fun, less boring, and I see a lot of those, like, M dashes and specific AI qualities, and usually I take them completely out because they look like they've been written by AI, even though that's something that I may have written myself. Yeah. There's some times where you can definitely tell that a social media caption is 100% written by AI, and I mean, there's ways to work around it.
And since we're on the topic of like kids using AI to dodge schoolwork, what would you say to a kid who wants to get better at school, wants to learn how to study, wants to get better with reading and writing, and is just struggling, doesn't know where to start, doesn't know how to improve, and is scared to improve because their peers are going to bully them, or that's what they think?
I would encourage them to talk to their teacher. Our teachers and our educators are probably one of the biggest tools that we have at our hands.
Mhm.
Our teachers are there because they want us to improve and they want us to be the best student that we can be. They're not there to intimidate us with homework that we don't understand. So, truly, just going and having a conversation with your teacher and being like, hey, I'm not really understanding this work, but I want to be a better student. Can you help me be that? They'll give you ways like, this is how you need to study. If you need help, you can come to my office hours. You can watch these videos on YouTube. You can use these worksheets that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers. Like, there's so many different resources that we have at our fingers, and those resources are even more connected to our teachers.
And one thing I would add is, especially if you need like a major topic breakdown, books like this, there's like science,
Oh my
what's that
gosh.
one? Astronomy, economics, math, that kind of thing, are always a major step up because it breaks down everything about a topic and you can read through as you're learning about that topic and it'll break down and help you comprehend better.
Yeah. And I've also seen those, like, physics for dummies and, like, English for dummies. Those books, although they kind of have, like, a condescending
Yeah.
title, are
If you
are
don't
actually
like the
pretty
main
helpful.
ones, I believe haha,
Oh my gosh!
this one is everything you need to ace geometry, but there's all sorts of different ones for different subjects and there's workbooks of the same brand, and they're so much nicer about it.
I know, yeah. I remember when I first got Minecraft, I had no idea how to play it, and my mom got me this Minecraft for Dummies book, and I still don't know how to play it, but, it was helpful.
I have a book for every section because I just looked right over at my Minecraft book.
I know, they're so
Sitting
helpful.
it's
Books
sitting right
literally
here by
help
my
us.
TV. It's a creative mode one because 'cause I'm not very good at
Oh,
building, and I've had it
I
for
love that.
years.
That's so awesome. See, books are at our fingers, and they help us with everything.
Yeah.
Are you what are you most looking forward to for the Pierce County pageant?
For the Pierce County pageant, I'm most looking forward to competing in general. I have an Auburn pageant lined up after this, so if
Mhm.
I don't win here, which I am hoping to, then I will have the building blocks and groundwork to know what I'm doing going into the Auburn one. I
Exactly.
have already improved so much as a person, as a woman, as just it's helped me grow my intelligence, my communication, and know how to carry myself so much better in a professional setting.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to taking everything I've learned from these rehearsals, thanks to McKinley, Jennifer, and the Miss Pierce County crown holders, and use it in that competition.
exactly. I know those workshops and those rehearsals are so helpful, so definitely take notes.
Now, if you ever need someone to help you with Minecraft, we could totally play at some point.
I don't even think I have it downloaded anymore. I'm a Roblox girl. I love Roblox.
Roblox too, just to impress.
Yep. See, I'm on my Adopt Me grind right now.
Adopt Me. You know, I've never played it.
I started playing it in COVID when I first got my phone, and
I
every
was
night
always a
I'd, like,
Bloxburg kid.
oh my gosh, this is crazy lore. So, I started a Bloxburg YouTube channel in 2020 and
What?
actually gained 20 I think I had 23,000 subscribers, and I made money off of my Bloxburg videos,
There's a
and that's
chance I
what
saw you then because I was feral for Bloxburg.
I know, it was so much fun, and now it's completely different, but my Blockster videos are actually really what got me into marketing and what got me into, um, branding and social media and everything that I've been able to learn, and now that's what I'm gonna do in college. So, this whole Roblox thing kinda got me to where I am now.
So, what are you looking to do in your future? Like as a job, as your major, if you have it declared?
There's not necessarily an exact label for it. I actually started watching Emily in Paris a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and it what she does and marketing for luxury brands and getting to travel the world is my dream. So I would either like to work in the luxury sector and market digitally for luxury fashion brands or just luxury brands in general, or kind of a full 360 from that. I would love to work for the NFL and do marketing for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So, either a fashion or NFL marketing influencer type thing.
yes, exactly. And I'm going to school for marketing with a minor in international business, I think is what we're doing, but it might switch to sports media. We're still kind of
Fun
thinking. I
space.
actually just got a college decision letter like an hour ago.
Yay!
So I'm waiting for my dad to get home so I can open it with him.
Well, you should let me know how that goes.
I will.
I'm a
Yeah.
senior, and then I am going to pursue a major in biomedical engineering and a minor in business and economics.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You got some big goals. That's crazy. I wish that I could be an engineer. That's
I
what
want
my
to be
dad
a
does.
cardiothoracic neurosurgeon with a specialist in dream and heart sciences. So
Wow.
the biomed engineering is so I can develop technology for the heart and brain.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And you can gain so much of just the knowledge in general that you need to be a student like that through the Miss America opportunity and scholarships as well.
You know, since we're talking about Miss America, our Miss America, Cassie Donegan, comes from New York, where they just cured a case of sickle cell anemia for the first time today.
Gosh. That's so cool. I actually have, a sister queen from a couple years ago that has sickle cell disease, so and
Well,
she's from New Jersey.
I hope that benefits her.
I sure do, yeah, I'll have to text her and see how her and her family are doing after that announcement.
Yep.
So
Alright. Well, I think I've exhausted any question I could come up with. You were lovely to have on this call. Thank you so much.
alright, well, thank you so much for having me, it was such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I hope you have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Kendall.
Thank you.